How to develop executive presence as a product manager. I'm hitting every OKR. My stakeholders even trust me, but I keep getting passed over for that director role. If that sounds familiar, your work isn't the problem. It's how you show up. Google, Meta, Coinbase, you name it. They go to the product managers who sound like executives. Look, I've coached over 1,000 product managers, and the top 1% all follow the same playbook. In this video, I'll break down the exact framework they use to develop executive presence and move from senior PM to director or VP roles, which can pay them $400K, $600K, $1 million or more. Let's start with number one. Stop trying to prove that you're smart. Start proving that you're strategic. See, most senior product managers get trapped trying to show that they have all the answers. That's individual contributor behavior. They're optimizing the backlog, writing specifications, knowing every customer detail. That's great. But that's not what executives are hired for. Directors and VPs are hired to make decisions with incomplete information. Not to be the smartest person in the room, but to be the most strategic. Let me tell you a story about one of my clients, Chris. He was a senior product manager, and he had been for a while. Smart, capable, well-respected. But like a lot of product managers, he felt stuck. He knew he could operate at a higher level, but wasn't sure how to show it without sounding arrogant or overstepping. During the Product Leader Blueprint, one of our programs, we gave him one simple shift. Start leading like you already are at that director level. Now, based on this, he didn't wait for permission. He started mentoring new product managers on the team. He took ownership of cross-functional alignment. He helped unblock engineering leads, and he became the go-to for high-stakes decisions. He didn't need to be the smartest person in the room. He just needed to lead with clarity and outcomes. And in a few months, he was promoted to lead product manager, more responsibility, more visibility, better pay, and not long after, he landed his director role, managing now 8 product managers across 4 sister companies. That's the power of showing up as the product leader before the title shows up for you, and even in all sorts of obstacles like, a cat walking around. So, what is this executive presence? Well, fundamentally to me, executive presence means shifting from let me show you what I know to let's figure out what matters in the first place. It's about silence too. It's about listening deeply and only speaking and speaking in a way that moves the room forward. When meetings get stuck, you'd redirect to the core business problem instead of diving into the technical details that everyone is wanting to do. You communicate trade-offs, implications for business goals, not just features. That's when people stop seeing you as a product manager and start seeing you as a product leader. I'll give you an example here, which is from my own career. So I had another product manager that worked with me, and what happened was that I had proposed a new idea and he supported me. He said, in fact, he spoke in another meeting. He said, Shobit proposed this idea, which is great. And then he talked about the idea. I later heard that this person, let's call him Ravi for now, Ravi had proposed this idea and it was great. And I was like, I asked somebody who was in the meeting and they were like, no. He clearly said that you had come up with the idea. The difference was executive presence. The way he had summarized, explained it was so much more compelling that people just assumed it was his idea, even though he had literally said that it was what I had come up with. That was the power of executive presence, and that opened my eyes. That made me realize I gotta build this. I gotta be able to have this executive presence that this product manager has. Now, let's talk about how this relates to your story, because it does. Your narrative reveals your level. The fastest way to spot a senior product manager versus a director is just listen to how they talk about their work. Senior product managers talk about what they did. Directors talk about what changed because of what they did. And this isn't about taking credit. It's about showing ownership of outcomes and not just outputs. Because here's the truth. Even without you, something will get built. Engineers will code, designers will design, features will get shipped. Your job as a future director is to show how you change the trajectory of the product and the business. Maybe it might have nothing to do with features. Maybe you realigned sales with the product's value proposition. Maybe you identified a pricing issue that unlocked growth. Maybe you stopped a project that wasn't even worth the investment. That's impact, that's leadership. So when you talk about your work, don't say, I built this feature. Say, we increased adoption by 23% by solving a key pain point that affected a significant segment of our customers. That's what moves the needle. Your signature narrative, the story you need for promotions, the story you use for interviews, must position you as someone who drives business results. Now, look, if you are realizing that you need help building this level of executive presence and positioning yourself for director roles, I can help. Book a free career strategy session with my team. The links in the description will map out exactly how to position yourself as leadership material, go for the next role, even before you have the title, and get you your dream director role. Now, as we discuss executive presence, it relates closely to another very important topic. And in fact, influence without authority is your competitive advantage. Because here's an objection I hear all the time. I don't manage any people, so how do I show leadership? Actually, that's your secret weapon. Directors who can influence without authority are far more valuable than managers who just delegate. Because executive presence helps you align cross-functional teams across a shared vision, even when they don't report to you. You become the product manager that engineering, design, marketing come to for strategic input, not just project updates. And when you manage up and you bring clarity to complex problems, you make your manager's job easier. That's leadership in action. Even at the VP level, you will be influencing without authority. You'll be aligning peers, executives, stakeholders across the company. You'll be aligning the CEO. You'll be aligning the board even. So showing that skill now is what makes you promotable later. Let me tell you a story about Ian. So Ian had spent over a decade at the same company. He'd built the product function from the ground up. He wasn't coasting, he was delivering well, but he hit a ceiling. He was director of product doing VP level work, yet something wasn't clicking. And he was asking all the right questions, like, how do I operate at the executive level? How do I communicate with the board? Do I even want this next step in my career? And that's when he found us. So he didn't need another course on frameworks or toolkits. He needed a mirror, a space to clarify what he wanted, and a system to become the leader he was ready to be. Inside Intentional Product Manager, we helped him build a mindset that unlocked speed, clarity, and at the same time, calm. Reshaped how he showed up with executives, with presence and strategy. Sharpened the exact language and timing that he would use to ask for the promotion. And do it all without sacrificing the balance and life that he truly valued. The result? He landed the VP of product title, not by chasing it, but by showing up as someone who already operated at that level. And he puts it, look, I just did what you told me. I used the right phrasing, I asked the right questions, and it worked. This wasn't about working harder. It was about working smarter with the right mindset, strategy, and clarity to match. Now, very often, as people start to implement it, they come across a fear, which is the fear that, hey, do I need to fake this? I'm not there, so am I faking it? Let's talk about this mindset block, because this is what stops most PMs. They think, I don't want to seem political or fake. I just want my work to speak for itself. But here's the thing, your work can't speak, only you can. Executive presence is not about pretending. It's about communicating your impact effectively. The product managers who get promoted aren't more political. They're actually more intentional. They know how to frame their value in a way such that senior leaders understand. And you're not changing your personality. You're evolving how you show up. I've had to do this myself. Look, years ago, I used to struggle with speaking confidently and even physically just speaking for a long time. After a few hours of presenting, my voice would give out. Forget about hours, like less than an hour of talking with people at loud conferences and whatnot. So I took voice lessons, singing classes even. You don't want to hear me sing, trust me. And I learned that I wasn't producing the voice right. I wasn't breathing right. Once I fixed that, everything changed. My tone, my voice is very different now. My presence, my confidence changed as a result of that. And your executive presence it's very similar. It's not fixed. It's a skill you can train. It all starts with mindset. Believing that you belong at that table and then communicating like you do. Because when you shift how you frame your value, the opportunities, they start finding you. If you are serious about landing that director or VP role, but don't know how to position yourself, that's exactly what we fix. Book a free strategy session using the link in the description. My team will audit your positioning and show you how to build executive presence that gets you noticed. Now, spots go fast, so grab yours while you're watching this. And before you go, make sure you check out this next video, which is all about the path to a 400K product manager job in 8 minutes.